Hello and welcome to Thursday Night Live. I remembered to not unmute my mic, so I'm here in person talking to you. Thank you all for tuning into the show. We have a great topic today, one that I think affects a lot of people. It's not really talked about in this way, and I think it's going to maybe turn on some light bulbs for people. At least that's my hope. And so the topic tonight is unconditional love. So what is unconditional love? So unconditional love is when you interact with people and do things for people and support people with no strings attached. You offer yourself, your services, your emotions freely and don't want anything in return. And so if you were brought up in any kind of spiritual tradition, this is a desired trait. There's that whole concept of being of service, which means, you do things for people and help people out without really taking yourself into consideration, because that's going to help you get into heaven, or that's going to help you become a more spiritual person, or that's going to help you let go of your ego. And it sounds great if everyone did it, but that's really not the case. Today, many people are very transactional in the way that they interact with people. Then there are the narcissists of the world, which seem to be more and more, now that they've kind of come out of the closet, and a word's been tagged to people that have narcissistic traits. It seems like every place you turn around, there's some other narcissist trying to run the show. And if you're an empathic person, if you're a person who operates based on wanting to give unconditional love and just be of service to other people, it's like the narcissist, the transactional person, is going to be drawn to you. What they see in you is that they can do pretty much whatever they want. They can want whatever they want. They can demand whatever they want. And no matter how they are, you are going to turn the other cheek because you are in the process of being unconditional. I know for me, that was what I believe, that, the next step of being in service, of being spiritual, of being more enlightened, I guess, was to live with unconditional love. But it really is not that way. And in our society, especially, if you're brought up in a heavy religious tradition, you're taught to be this way. It's just part of our upbringing. And with women in particular, you're constantly being taught from a very young age that you're supposed to do all this stuff for people and get nothing in return and be happy about it. But if you are this way, and you interact with people in this way, it opens the door for a whole lot of yuck. And like I said, I believed this for years, and the net consequence of it is that I suffered from being taken advantage by other people. And it's interesting because, there were tons of books in the 80s, Shakti Gawan and Sandra Roman and Sandra Ray, and, all of these people talking about loving people unconditionally. And I believe that's what you were supposed to do. And it wasn't until many years later that when I was studying Kabbalah, that they actually shared their viewpoint on unconditional love. So I'm going to get a little second technical here. And so Teperith, which is one of the spheres on the tree of life, parallels to the fourth chakra. And when they talk about that Sephiroth, it is the balancing point where we can take all of the different parts of our psyche and funnel it through this one point. And it's from that one point that we can say, but how does that make me feel? Or what about me? And take ourselves into consideration. Because in their perspective, in their view of the world, you cannot love someone unconditionally unless you are whole within yourself. So we're programmed. We're programmed to not take ourselves into account. Unconditional love tells you, in the generic concept of the word, to basically take crap from other people, turn the other cheek, and then go back for more. But how is that a loving act? How is that a self-loving act? How are you loving yourself at all if you are allowing someone else to control and modulate your space? And the bottom line and the big question is, why love someone else more than you love yourself? That's a hard one. Why love someone else more than you love yourself? And so to truly be unconditional, you have to take yourself into consideration. You have to take your wants, needs, desires into consideration. If someone is constantly screwing you up and messing with your energy, you have to take that into consideration, and maybe they don't deserve your unconditional love. It's interesting. I was doing a presentation to the Lions Club here in my little podunk East Texas town. And I was talking about unconditional love. And it was just a piece of the presentation. And I asked if there were questions. And I have to tell you, there were a number of people who were really upset with me because I suggested that they weren't, that it wasn't necessarily healthy for them to just give all their energy away. They felt that there was something wrong with that, or they took issue, which was really interesting because it was free and I was doing it to be nice and be unconditional. And then I just got a lot of slack for it. So that wasn't really fun. And so I won't go back. And so if you're someone who's been programmed to give away your energy, to take care of people unconditionally, to accept whatever they're going to give you or not give you because you don't have any expectation of something in return. And I'm not talking about being transactional where it has to be one for one, but there's kind of this pattern, long-standing pattern that you can take into consideration. It can be really hard if you have never taken yourself into consideration, if you have never had or expressed self-love, if you have self-worth issues, because if you love them more and you're more willing to take care of them, then what are you saying about your own self-worth? It can be hard to exert yourself and say, but what about me? And so even though this might sound terrible, for people who chronically do this and give their energy away, then I challenge you to ask yourself that question. What about me? What did I write here? Am I loving somebody more than I'm loving myself? And if I do this, is it loving to me as well? And if you get no, then what are you going to do about it? And that's the challenge. What are you going to do about it? And when you make that decision and it might not be what the other person wants to do, then you have the opportunity to create a boundary and say, that's not really working for me. And my friends, that is part of self-growth. That is part of the development of your self-worth, your self-esteem, and your self-love. And all of those things are nurturing to yourself and to your soul. So that's my little topic for today. Let me do this. So, you hear me say it every week, but if there's stuff going on in your life, you need some guidance, some insights, whether it's a physical issue, a mental issue, emotional issue, you're dealing with trauma, you're dealing with boundary issues, you need someone to look at the dynamics of a situation. Stop on my webpage, soulhealer.com. It's loaded with articles and videos and my books, which we've talked about, including my new one. Where is it? Dang, it was me all along. That you can get, and they're all autographed. And drop me a note and we can set up a time for a private consultation, which goes far beyond anything that I possibly say in this forum. And while you're there, don't forget to sign up for my newsletter so you can be kept informed of things that are coming up, or at least that the show's coming up, because it comes out on Thursday morning as a reminder. If you're listening to this show in a rerun or on some of the platforms that don't let you interact, if you want to interact with the show, if you want to go online and get a free reading, the easiest place to do it is to go on YouTube. Go to my YouTube channel, Just Energy Radio on YouTube. That's 3 words, Just Energy Radio. On Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Central, click on the live link and it will let you get into the chat, and you can get a free on-air psychic reading and hang out with me and all the great people that tend to come here on Thursday nights. So I'm going to go switch over to the chat area. Most of you know the rules. It's like, if you want to communicate with me directly, or you want me to make sure I read your post, or if you would like a reading, please put your message in all caps so I can identify that from people chit-chatting in the background, which is fine. I love you guys talking. I just need to know what I need to pay attention to versus what I don't need to pay attention to. And if you're new here and you want a reading, just type in the chat thing, I would like a reading, and give me a number between 1 and 3. And that's how many times I'll shuffle for you and then pick a card. So I'm not going to go through and pre-say hi. I'm just going to kind of go down. And when I hit a spot where someone wants a reading, I'm just going to stop there and go from there. Okay. So, hi, RLCC. Nice seeing you. Karen, see, I remember you now because you've been here before. Yay. Christine. Hi, Christine. Hi, Amy. Hi, Yvonne. Hi, Otto. Hi, Cindy Simpson. Nice to see you. All right, Yvonne, you get the number 1 slot. She would like a reading number 2. Okay, and this is your card for today. Okay, so Yvonne, I feel like, the first word that came up was that you had an epiphany, but I maybe want to change that, because I feel like something's been taking off your shoulders, like a weight's been taken off, so maybe the epiphany was like, oh, I could do this and it'll make things be easier and better. Thus, the weight coming off your shoulders. I know that, the last few weeks you've been kind of working through stuff, and I just get the impression that you're Eureka, I have found it. So let me know. Okay. Hi, Mr. B and friends, Truth Seekers. Nice to see you again. Hi, Cindy. Ohura. Hi, Ohura. Austin, you're here again. Hey, dude. Okay. Number 3. And you guys waste no time. All right, Austin. All right, this is your card for today. Okay, so Austin, I kind of get the impression that today was just not a good day. When I look at your space, I feel like all of your energy is like shoved into your third chakra, which is the, in your stomach area. I feel like, excuse me, your energy has kind of imploded. I don't feel like you're projecting out into the world. I'm feeling like you don't feel like the world is safe right now. Um, but when we're scared, when we're experiencing fear, we're not trusting in the universe. We're not trusting in source or God or the universe or whatever word you want to put there. But there's a lack of trust. And I feel like there's this level of fear that you're in right now. And I would like to suggest to acknowledge the fear. I mean, fear is okay, but also recognize that when you're in fear, you're not trusting that you're being directed in the more appropriate way for you and your development and your spirit. I hope that helps. Okay, Christine would like a reading number 3. Okay, Christine, number 3. Okay, and this is the card that came up. Okay, well, this is kind of interesting. At first I thought you were trying to do something, but I get the impression that you're kind of under a bunch of pressure and that people want stuff from you, and they're kind of pushing their energy towards you. And I would like to suggest you tell them to like back off and leave you alone. It's really affecting you. I feel like it's kind of creating anxiety in you. And just, leaving you feel overwhelmed, because what they want is for you to solve their problems and has absolutely nothing to do with you. And so if you can look at it that way, maybe it'll make it be better, or maybe you can tell them like, you need to figure it out and then come back when you have a solution, and I'll help you with the solution, but I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. Hope that makes sense. Let me know. Okay. Ahura says she would like a reading number 3, please. Okay, and Ahura, this is your card. So I feel like there's part of you that really just wants to escape, but you keep vacillating back and forth between, well, I should do this, or I should do this, or I should do this. And I feel like there isn't a solid, or, I'm going to say substantial feeling. I'm not really sure what would be the correct word here for you to make a decision on, or at least that's your perception of what's going on. Okay, so what they're suggesting to me to suggest to you is that you take each of these choices and ask each specific choice, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Because I feel like multiple of the choices that you have, you're going to get a no. I feel like one of them, You're going to get a yes, but it's going to be a weak yes, a weak, like not strong yes. And I feel like that direction is closer, and that's the one you should put some energy into and kind of invest some time in, um, because I feel like you're close, but not exactly hitting the mark. And I feel like if you explore that some more, it will kind of open that picture up, because I feel like the answer's not here, but over here. But it's kind of in that bucket. And I think you understand what I mean by that. So let me know what's going on. Okay. Karen, who's been here before, would like a reading, and she would like a number 2. Okay, Karen. Okay, Karen, that's the card that came up for you. Actually, let me grab a lozenge. All right, I'm not paying attention, so hang on, because I can't get this thing open. There we go. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so Karen, when I'm kind of not, well, it kind of makes sense with this card. You know, when I look at your energy, you too kind of have a knot in your stomach. I feel like there's something that you need to do, you have to do, you know you should be doing, but you really don't want to do it. Um, like I'm feeling like you're hitting a lot of resistance in the moving forward of it. Um, I just want to share that the resistance that you're hitting is your fear. I feel like what's going on is hitting some of your core programs. And by going ahead and doing it, even if you have to white knuckle it, we'll sit there and begin the shift of an old energy, an old program that you have been operating by for a very long time. So do it, even if it sucks. Okay. Hi, Denise. And Amy would like a reading. And she would like a number 2. Okay, number 2 for Amy. Oops. All right, I overshuffled. All right, Amy, number 2. All right, that's your card for today. So, Amy, you know, the way that I'm going to say this is you kind of have really big energy today. I feel like you have, you know, been like doing some homework, but you have taken all the other people's energy and all of the stuff that was in your space, and you're in the process of dispelling it, burning it out with fire, which probably feels really, 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 really good to you. I mean, I know you've been in this place before, and this is how you kind of clear your energy. I'm feeling, you know, what they're saying to me to tell you is pay attention to this time. Pay attention to how your energy felt prior to having your little fire escapade, because maybe you can work on shifting it before you have to get to this place where it needs to be like so big and so explosive. You know, what they're suggesting is that you let it go on for too long before taking some kind of corrective action about it. And so that would be my suggestion, is to use this as a learning situation of what's going on in your energy space, how you're feeling, not necessarily the other people, but how you're feeling, because it's a pattern that you have. You know, you'll take on so much and be all unconditionally loving for so long, and then you get irritated and pissed off, and it's like, goodbye, everybody. You know, so maybe that would be a good lesson for you. All right. So Cindy says, I believe that for a long time. I'm assuming unconditional love. Um, I'm happy. I don't believe that way any longer. Life is amazing now. I know, isn't it just shocking how when we actually love ourselves, and even when we make a decision that's hard, but the decision is, but this choice would be more loving to me, that even though it's a hard choice, you know it's the right choice. Weird, weird. Oh, so Otto's got a great question. What's the difference? But you didn't put it in caps, the two of you just saying. What's the difference between unconditional love and codependency? And that's a great question, Otto. And I think that people that operate based on unconditional love, based on a misconception of what that's supposed to be and how you are supposed to interact in that dynamic. It can very well be codependent. Um, but you know, codependent people tend to be a lot more clingy. You can be very unconditional in a dysfunctional way and not necessarily be codependent on somebody else, and having their happiness and their joy be the central focus of you and your life. You know, you could just sit there and just give away too much, which isn't necessarily codependent. But to me, they can be very close and could overlap a lot. Okay. Karen loved the topic. Veronica has a question. Reading, what does Abe think of me? Okay, Veronica. You know, that's not a card and that's not a number. I mean, it's interesting, Veronica. I'm not really feeling his energy around you all that much. Um, I feel like there's more interest on your part than there is on his part. Um, it's interesting because I kind of like tapped his energy, like with your face on it, and he shied away. And it's not that he shied away from you personally. I feel like he tends to shy away. I'm not really looking super deep. Um, you know, whether he's just a shy guy or whether he's been hurt or all of the above. Um, but in this moment, I'm not feeling a whole lot of interaction um, from him. Okay, so Marco says my hair looks fabulous. Thanks, Marco. I got it cut. I haven't really been liking it. It actually looks pretty good today. All right, so let's see. So Veronica says, since we're talking about unconditional love, it's so hard to let some people go. You get attached. You know, and I hear that. But if you're with someone and they are not good for you, I mean, just in general, not good for you, you know, the codependent will stay anyway, you know, because the codependent has self-worth, self-esteem, and self-love issues. If you're healthy, you'll sit there and say to yourself, you know, this really isn't working for me. And since it's not working for me, I am going to love myself more and step away. Even though you might be on your sofa crying every day, but you're choosing for you and not choosing for them. Karen says, I needed these reminders tonight. Thank you. You're so welcome. So I'm guessing Cindy Simpson would like a reading because she just said, number 3, please. Okay, Cindy Simpson, number 3. Oh, and one thing that I want to say to you guys, other than since all my social media stuff is down below, where I would love, even if you don't go to those things like Rumble or Facebook, if you would like and subscribe and whatever, so my numbers go up, I would really appreciate it. And when these things get posted, if you would share them with your peeps, I would love that. Especially right now, we're live. If you would share that, that would be super great. All right, Cindy. So I'm just like randomly shuffling. So you're just going to have to take the random shuffle. Ew. Random shuffle brought up a mask card. Ew. Okay. So I'm just, ew. Ew. All right. There's like, Cindy, what do you got going on? Okay. So after 3 cards, there was kind of a shift, and I was like, and then there was like yucky card, like every single yucky card that's in this deck, another mask card, not great card, till one that actually cleared the energy came up. So, girl, what do you got going on? Okay. So, Cindy, did somebody hurt your feelings? I'm just feeling like a lot of emotional energy in you. I'm feeling like you have a lot of negative thinking happening, like something happened and you got really triggered and you are suffering from the effects of that. So if that's kind of the case and you're not really aware that you're triggered, I'd like to tell you, girl, you're triggered. And there's this much funky energy sitting in there before you hit this card, which is the release card. So I would like to suggest, like while you're just sitting here listening to the show, you don't have to watch me. Close your eyes and just breathe slow. Do some tapping. Do something that will help you. I know that I have some clients that come into the show and they tell me that just hearing my voice helps them to ground and helps them to become more centered and focused. And so I'm hoping that that also happens for you. So I don't really know what happened. But you're triggered, and and it happens to all of us. We all get triggered. It's to me, it's how long is it going to take me to move through this process? And so I'm so glad that you're here tonight, and I'm hoping that you being here tonight will help you move through this process, and so that by the end of the show you'll be feeling better and less in such a dark space. So okay. So Yvonne says, definitely in the process, things looking up. Yay. Oh, Sin is here. Do you got a new boyfriend, Sin? Just checking. Okay, so Dawn says, I'm here. I need a real good reading today. One would be okay. Okay, Dawn. I'm going to send good energy in. Okay, that's the card that came up. Interesting. So so most of the images on this card are about conflict, about fighting, whatever. And I kind of sense that's true with you too. That there's this inner battle going on, but I feel like the bigger you, the bigger Dawn, is taking more power back, is taking more control, is feeling self-love. Kind of like may the force be with you kind of thing. And I feel like it is working on moving out the bad Dawn, kind of like Darth Vader Dawn from your space, because Luke Skywalker is a Jedi Knight, and I just feel this like power, like, like you have the force and that you can use this energy to overcome and vanquish this other part that's not serving you. So very cool. See, good reading. Good reading. Okay. All right, Sin. Ooh, no guy question. Okay, so I'm just going to read through this for those that are not on YouTube. So Sin wants reading number 4, and then she says, what are my spirit messages for me in general, and maybe Austin's intentions to me? Okay, so Austin, I know hopefully you're still in here listening. Is it you and Sin? Maybe you need that Austin, Sin. Anyway, number 4. I'm just kidding. So Sin, I know that you just kind of got here, but there is an Austin in the chat room tonight. And I'm just going to do the cards. And it's only 1 through 3. 1 through 3, Sin, in capital letters. So I'm just doing 3. Okay. Okay, and this is the card I pulled for you. Okay, so this is kind of interesting. I'm feeling like there's part of you, and I'm not quite sure how to express this, that is looking to, in the process of making some deeper, more fundamental changes. I feel like you have been going through a period of kind of introversion, of looking on the inside, and I feel like you want to make separation from that person, from those behaviors. I feel like when you look at them now, you can see how unhealthy they were. And there's this real effort to kind of bringing this new person, this other person to the table that just seems and feels more healthy. So yay, good job. Okay. Christine said that definitely makes sense and was very on point. Thank you. You worded it very well. You are so welcome. Karen says makes sense. Pat Hall's here and she said, I would like a reading number 3. Thanks. Welcome to that. Okay, so Pat, all right, this is your card for today. So Pat, what I'm feeling is, the impression that I'm getting is that you are coming to the end of a project, a cycle. I'm not really feeling cycle so much. I'm feeling like this is a bit more tangible. And what's interesting is I'm feeling like there's part of you that is looking for some recognition in it, some appreciation. So, a thank you, something. I get the impression that, hey, I get the impression that that doesn't happen very often. And so maybe you need to acknowledge yourself. Maybe you need to recognize yourself. Maybe you need to take yourself out for dinner, or go buy yourself a nice gift so that you can start creating that energy of pride and of recognition for all of your hard work and the fruits of your labor. I know that there's part of you that would really like that, but it's kind of sitting way in the background, like, okay, well, notice me because I've been working really hard. But people suck and they don't necessarily do that. And you need to do that for yourself. How's that? All right. So Marco wants to know if he could borrow my skull shirt. So Marco, I also have this fabric in a tank top, and you might look hotter in the tank top than this shirt. So just let me know because you can borrow it anytime. And see, Amy typed in all caps, so I know that she was writing to me. Wow, I absolutely recognize that this is an old pattern and I do not want to handle it the same way. Spot on. Thank you. You're welcome. And then there's this whole thing about my hair. Okay. And then Veronica says, thank you. He is shy and we have not seen each other in a while. Okay, well, cool. Let him do the work. Let him do the talking, create. I'm going to change that. Create a safe space for him. Because if he doesn't feel safe, he will run. He will run. Clay says, hey, everyone, thanks so much to Rita for hosting. Clay, I love doing this, and I would love to see you here every week because I have a lot of fun. Okay. So Cindy says, thanks, I'll do tapping. You're very welcome. All right. All right, Clay said I would like a reading on love and relationships. So Clay, I just kind of pulled a card, but who knows? And since you didn't give me a number, I'm picking number 2 for you. Usually people do 1 through 3 and they type when they're talking to me, even if you're like giving me follow-up in all caps. Ooh, interesting. So Clay, this is the card that came up for you. Okay, so I'm actually going to format this to talk about your relationship space because it works for me. I get the impression that you are in a releasing phase right now. I get the impression that, having to do with the relationship, that you've been hurt and you have not fully processed the hurt and the pain and the trauma of it. And so, if you are out and looking and trying to create a new relationship, it's like you're not there yet because it would just really be more of a rebound reaction versus you coming to it from a healthy place. So maybe give it some time before you actually go out and look for somebody else, because if you go and look for somebody else at this point in time, it would just you're not in a healthy place. And so you can't draw to you somebody that's healthy if you're not in a healthy place. Veronica says, yeah, Dr. Rita has a grounding way about her. Maybe she's a Taurus. Are you trying to say Taurus? Taurus. Taurus. No, I am not a Taurus at all. So Dawn says, I can't make contact with my sister in Texas for some reason, not even if I call or text or email. Do you maybe feel anything wrong? Sorry if that was a bit late. Dawn, very quickly, put your sister's first name down there. It will make it easier for me to try to tap into her energy. Pat says, thanks, so true, self-love. All right, Clay, I already got you, Clay. Ha, ha, ha. Okay, wow. Shocking, I got to the bottom of the list. So, anybody have any questions for me since I made it through everything? You know what, Deb, I know that you're in there listening. I'm going to do a reading for you because I know you're hiding in the background. And I'm going to do a 3 because 3 is the best number. Now, let's take that off. And Deb, this is the card I pulled for you. You know, it's interesting. I'm just sensing like this calmness around you right now. You know, I hate to say it's like, you know, it's almost the quiet before the storm, you know, but enjoy this period, enjoy this cycle. And make the commitment to yourself that you're not going to allow the storm to come upon you again. I get the impression that you are okay with it, that you end up feeding it, and then it gets to be bigger and bigger versus not allowing the storm to start in the first place. I mean, I feel like this is a really good place. Your energy seems pretty well grounded, which is really good. Really good. Okay. Okay. So Dawn's sister's name is Michelle. You know, so Dawn, what's coming up for me is don't be paranoid. I don't get the impression that there's anything wrong with Michelle. I feel like she's okay. I don't really understand why she's not getting back to you other than she's been a little bit busy. Okay, come here. Give me that. Everybody, this is Shlomo. Sorry about that. I just don't worry. Don't allow the fear. Don't allow that to take control. She is fine. She is fine. And I think that's really all you need to know, and not worry about why she isn't getting back to you right at this moment. She will. Okay, so Yvonne says, can you focus on Wednesdays? Wednesday is big day number 1. What would mean? That would mean a lot to me. Okay, so Yvonne, I'm not really understanding the comment or the question. So you have something coming up on Wednesday? I mean, that would really be predicting the future. I can kind of look at what next Wednesday is going to be, but, you know, it is not my thing. I do not hold myself accountable for anything that I possibly say. All right, but hang on a second. I need to pull up a calendar. Okay, bear with me here. Okay, so that would be the 21st. Okay, so they're giving me something completely different. So Yvonne, don't worry about Wednesday. Set the intention that Wednesday is going to be a great day. Set your energy high that Wednesday is going to be a great day. Don't sit there and focus on what's going on and what you need to do and the details of what is happening on Wednesday. Focus on you and your energy and what do I need to do to be at my highest vibration, because the universe will match that energy. So if your energy is good, Wednesday is going to be good. If your energy sucks on Wednesday, it's not going to be good. So vibrate high, and then Wednesday will be good. Okay. Denise said she would like a reading, and she would like a number 3. This card just came up. Okay, Denise, that's your card. Okay, so this is interesting, Denise. I get the impression that you're kind of looking, and I'm going to say at your life, maybe your things. I don't know if you're purging, but the purging would be the correct word, whether it's physical things or things in your own energy space that really, are outdated or really aren't working for you anymore. I feel like you've caught yourself in a place where you're like, well, I should do this. And you're, this other part of you is looking at it going, well, I don't have to do it. And having this little dialogue and going, well, I don't even like doing it. And you kind of throwing it away. And I feel like this sorting through your thoughts, your things, whatever, is making you feel lighter and actually making you feel more directed in, this is who I am and this is where I want to go and this is who I want to become. And so I think that that's really good, because sometimes we just get so overloaded with what we think we should be and what we think we should do that we lose sight of who we are in the whole process. And I feel like you're bringing yourself and your soul back into sight. So wonderful. Okay. Debbie said, that was wonderful. I'll do my best. Otto said, thank you. Dawn said, okay. Yvonne said, that was super helpful. I really appreciate that. You are so welcome, Yvonne. Ziggy would like a reading, and he said, it's very nice to see me. It's very nice to see you too, Ziggy. And you made it on time. You're not wondering like where everybody is. Number 2. Okay, so this is your card for today. It's interesting, Ziggy. I'm looking for something going on, but all I'm sensing around you is kind of this feeling of peace, this feeling of kind of tranquility. And I'm just going to leave it there. It's like, be in peace, be tranquil, have it so that your mind isn't going crazy, because it's peaceful and tranquil. And, there are so many of us that when we find that place, we kind of wonder what's wrong and, I should be doing something. And, and just interacting with that energy, it's like, oh, I got a peaceful, easy feeling. I mean, that's what you got going on. Enjoy it. Love it. Have it be okay. Great. And then Denise says, I can see that. Thank you, Dr. Rita. Very helpful. You are so welcome, Denise. All right, so there's only a couple of minutes left. There aren't any other questions, so I'm going to hook myself. Again, you know, when I sit there and do these, you know, I am just doing a very brief kind of generic reading. And so if there's stuff going on that you need some deeper insights, you know, I would really appreciate it if you would reach out to me and schedule a session, you know, or share this video with your friends so that we can have, you know, the more the merrier. That would be great. So if you want to contact me, go to my website, soulhealer.com, you know, sign up for the newsletter. And again, if you think anybody could find value in this show, send them to my YouTube page, Just Energy Radio on YouTube, Thursday night at 7 p.m. Central. Anyway, so until next week, I'm Dr. Rita Louise. This is Thursday Night Live. Be blessed.